Every morning presents a fundamental choice: succumb to doubt, distraction, and fear, or ascend with clarity, purpose, and power. What if, from this day forward, you could reprogram your mind for focus, growth, and victory? Envision navigating life unshaken, unstoppable, and in complete command of your destiny. This is your pivotal moment, your breakthrough, because mastery of your mornings translates to mastery of your life. In mere moments, you'll uncover how affirming, powerful truths each dawn can rewire your mind and revolutionize your existence. I am the master of my mind. Before your feet even touch the floor, each morning internalize a truth that distinguishes winners from wanderers. You are the master of your mind, not your boss, not chance, not luck. Have you ever observed how a man's entire day can be derailed by something as trivial as a spilled coffee or a harsh word? Consider this. Is it the event itself or his reaction to it that dictates the remainder of his day? You know the answer. You weren't born with a mind meant to drift aimlessly like a feather. You were born with a mind to direct, command, and to shape your reality. You were granted the same raw mental faculties as every titan who ever built an empire, crafted a masterpiece, or triumphed over adversity. But here's the common pitfall. The average person spends their life being run by their mind instead of running it. They fill it with worry, doubt, and regret, never realizing these thoughts take root, and soon enough their life mirrors the internal chaos they permit. Ask yourself, if a farmer allows weeds to flourish, can he expect a bountiful harvest? If a carpenter neglects his tools, will his table stand firm? Why, then, should you anticipate a rich, fulfilling life if you leave your mind untended? Now, imagine what happens when you awaken and decide, today, my thoughts are mine to choose. Picture yourself entering your workplace, your shop, your school, unswayed by others' moods, undeterred by yesterday's missteps. Someone rudely bumps into you. You smile, move on, unaffected. A deal falls through. You adjust, recalibrate, because your mind isn't shackled to outcomes. But how does one truly command the mind? You begin simply. The instant your eyes open, you affirm, I choose what I think. Then, throughout the day, when negative thoughts inevitably creep in, you pause and ask, does this serve me? If not, replace it. Say instead, I am capable, I am resilient, I am focused. Reflect on great figures from history. Do you believe they spent their days indulging in fear? Or did they discipline their minds like a wild horse, breaking its nature, until it obeyed? You know the answer, so the question is, will you rise today as the master of your mind, or will you surrender the reins to chance, to circumstance, to whatever comes your way? Remember, nothing external holds power over you, unless you grant it permission. Say it now, say it every morning, I am the master of my mind, and observe how your life begins to align. Today I choose definite purpose. Before the sun fully ascends, before the sounds of footsteps and conversations permeate the air, one decision silently determines whether a person drifts aimlessly or strides boldly toward greatness. And that decision is this. Today I choose definite purpose. Think about it. Look around. How many people wander through life like rudderless ships buffeted by the winds of circumstance, tossed by every wave of distraction, uncertainty, or someone else's opinion? One day they declare, I ought to do this. The next, they muse, perhaps, I'll try that. Years pass, and nothing of substance is built but purpose. Purpose. That is the engine distinguishing builders from bystanders, creators from complainers. When someone awakens and declares, this is what I will do, everything begins to arrange itself differently. Their feet move with certainty. Their hands become instruments of creation, not idle tools of habit. Ask yourself, have you ever seen a bricklayer commence work without first knowing where the walls will stand? Would a farmer ever sow seeds without selecting the field, the crop, and the desired harvest? Why, then, would you allow a single day to pass without deciding with absolute clarity what you are building with your time, your energy, and your effort? Imagine this for a moment. Picture yourself stepping out of bed and proclaiming aloud, today, my purpose is ... And you complete that sentence with something precise. Perhaps it's completing a delayed task, making a new connection, acquiring a new skill, mending a relationship, or laying one more brick toward a grander dream. Suddenly, the minor irritations that once bothered you, a neighbor's complaint, a slight from an acquaintance, the changing weather, all become irrelevant. Why? Because when your mind holds purpose, it no longer has room for pettiness. But here's the trap most people fall into. They wait. They wait for the perfect moment, for certainty, until the stars align, or for someone else to grant them permission to begin. But that day never comes. And time, that relentless thief, continues to move. The truth is, purpose isn't found. It's chosen. It's declared. One doesn't stumble upon purpose like loose change. No, they grasp it with both hands and say, this is mine. So, how do you do this? Each morning, while the world still sleeps, sit quietly with yourself. Ask, what do I intend to accomplish today that moves me closer to the life I desire? Be honest, be specific. Vague wishes lead to vague results. I want to be successful is not a purpose. but I will learn this skill. I will make these 5 calls, or I will write this page. Now that is purpose in action. Imagine yourself as a craftsman in your workshop, tools neatly lined, wood laid out. You don't wander aimlessly from hammer to saw. You select the right tool for the right job because you know what you are building. Life works the same way. Your mind holds the tools. Purpose is the blueprint. Ask yourself, if today were your last, would you be proud of how you spent it? Would the hours you surrendered to distraction, gossip, or trivial matters stand as worthy investments, or would they dissipate like smoke? There's only one remedy, one phrase that sharpens the mind and straightens the spine. Today, I choose definite purpose. Say it, mean it, live it, and when the sun sets, let it find you not among the drifters and wishers, but among the builders, the men and women whose lives stand tall, brick by brick, purpose by purpose, because they chose day after day to command it. Nothing will distract me from my goal. Pause for a moment and reflect deeply. When was the last time someone truly achieved something great by being easily distracted? You already know the answer. A goal is like a fire in a furnace. It burns hot, but only if it's constantly fed. Yet, observe how many people allow every trivial noise, every idle conversation, every fleeting thought to pull them away from what truly matters. 1 minute they're committed to building a future, the next they're entangled in matters that have no business stealing their time. But not you, not anymore. Today you articulate a truth aloud that becomes armor. Why does this matter so much? Because distraction is the silent thief of dreams. It doesn't arrive with a fanfare. It sneaks in as neighborly gossip, a sudden inconvenience, an unexpected invitation that leads you down a path far from your ambitions. Left unchecked, these minor diversions accumulate until days become weeks, and weeks become years. You must ask yourself, if a person plants a seed but walks away halfway through watering it, should they be surprised when the harvest never arrives? Can a builder pause halfway through raising the walls of their home, spend their days watching passers-by, and then wonder why the roof never stands above them? Imagine yourself now, genuinely focused. Picture this. You rise in the morning with your goal clearly etched in your mind. You commence your day with intention. Someone calls for idle chatter, but you politely decline. A small problem attempts to pull you into worry, but you breathe, address it swiftly, and return to your mission. Suddenly your life feels sharper. You become aware of the minutes you used to waste. You realize that every minor distraction is a stone piled onto your own delay. But here's the truth. Most never grasp. Distraction isn't merely external. It often resides between your ears, a wandering mind, a tendency to overthink, an urge to entertain doubt. These are the invisible shackles that bind most people. So, how does one break free? It begins each morning with a decision, spoken aloud or quietly etched into the mind. Nothing will distract me from my goal. And throughout the day, when something tempts you off course, you pause and ask, does this serve my purpose, or is it stealing my progress? If it serves you, embrace it. If it doesn't, discard it without apology. Picture someone tending to their workshop. Every tool has a purpose. Dust gathers in the corners, but they don't waste their day sweeping it when the project at hand demands their focus. No, they know what deserves their attention, the task at hand. Life is no different. Ask yourself, if you allow every minor inconvenience to steal your attention today, where will you be a year from now? 5 years? But if you instead hold firm, guarding your focus as if it were gold, what could you build? Who could you become? Remember, the world doesn't reward dabblers. It rewards those who commit, the ones who can stand in a noisy, chaotic world and still declare, my goal remains. My hands stay busy. My mind stays steady. Say it now. Say it with conviction. Nothing will distract me from my goal. Let this be the shield you carry. Let this be the line you draw in the sand between a life of wandering and a life of achievement. Because those who master focus master life. My thoughts are seeds. I will plant success. As the morning sun rises and the world slowly awakens, you must remind yourself of a truth so powerful, so undeniable, that it shapes the course of every life, whether recognized or not. Your thoughts are seeds, and today you will plant success. Consider the farmer. Do they walk out to a barren field and expect corn to sprout where no seed has been planted? Do they stand amidst empty soil and demand a harvest they never prepared for? Of course not. Even a child knows the answer. First comes the seed, then comes the harvest. But here's where most people falter. They forget that the mind operates under the same law. Every thought you entertain, whether of faith or fear, victory or doubt, is a seed. And like the earth itself, your subconscious mind doesn't judge what you plant. It simply receives, nourishes, and grows whatever is placed inside. So, here's the question you must ask yourself each morning. What seeds am I planting today? Will they yield the fruits of success, strength, and abundance, or the weeds of frustration, worry, and failure? Imagine this. You wake up, and without realizing it, you begin whispering to yourself, this day will be hard. I'm not ready. Something always goes wrong, whether spoken aloud or merely entertained. In the silence of your own mind, those words take root, and like weeds in a garden, they grow rapidly, stifling creativity, draining energy, and ensuring that struggle meets you at every turn. But imagine the opposite. You rise, stretch your arms, and declare, I am capable, I am ready, everything I need is within me. Success is already unfolding. Suddenly your posture straightens, your mind sharpens. The obstacles remain, yes, but you face them as someone equipped for battle, not as one already defeated. Ask yourself, if someone plants poison in their field, should they be surprised when nothing nourishing grows? Why then would anyone entertain thoughts of doubt, fear, or defeat, and then wonder why success feels elusive? This isn't magic, it's not a mystery, this is a law, as real as gravity and as unbreakable as time itself. You become what you consistently think. Your life bends in the direction of your dominant thoughts. So, how do you master this? Begin each morning with a simple practice. Sit quietly, close your eyes if you wish, and consciously choose the seeds you wish to plant. Speak them aloud if you must. I am resourceful. I create solutions. My efforts are valuable. I attract the right people and opportunities. And throughout the day, become the watchman of your own mind. When a thought of doubt creeps in, and it will, ask yourself, is this the seed I wish to plant? If the answer is no, replace it immediately. Don't wait. Don't argue with it. Cast it out like a bad seed and plant a stronger one in its place. Picture yourself as the gardener of your mind. Each morning you walk the rows, remove the weeds, check the soil, and water the ideas that serve you. Discipline, faith, persistence, courage. You leave no space for anything less. Now ask yourself, if you do this daily, if you tend to your mind as diligently as a farmer tends to their field, where will you be 1 year from now? How rich, how full, how abundant could your harvest become? Say it now. Say it with absolute conviction. My thoughts are seeds. I will plant success. And remember, the harvest always matches the seed. Always. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. As the first rays of sunlight spill through your window, there's a truth you must firmly anchor in your mind before the day begins. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. You see, life doesn't hand out success wrapped in velvet and waiting on your doorstep. No, life delivers it disguised, wrapped in difficulty, hidden beneath struggle, and cloaked in what most people call problems. Look closely at the world. Observe some people, when faced with an obstacle, lower their heads. They groan, complain, curse their misfortune, and wonder, why me? But others are rare who stand taller when challenges arise. They square their shoulders, look the problem in the eye, and whisper to themselves, here is my opportunity. Here is my test. Ask yourself, which person do you choose to be? Think about the blacksmith. They don't shape iron with gentle hands. They thrust it into fire, beat it with a hammer and anvil, over and over, until it becomes something strong, something useful, something enduring. And you, my friend, are no different. Life's fire doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to forge you. Yet how often do people forget this? A delay occurs, and they give up. A door closes, and they retreat. A criticism is spoken, and their spirits crumble. They fail to see that these very moments are the training ground for strength. Imagine yourself now, picture it clearly, working toward a dream. Suddenly a setback arrives, a deal falls through, a task proves harder than expected. Someone doubts you, mocks you, or says you'll never succeed. What do? Do you crumble, or do you lean in, smile slightly and say, perfect, here is the weight that will make me stronger? Because here is the truth. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. A tree doesn't grow tall without the resistance of the wind. A muscle doesn't grow strong without the strain of resistance. A person doesn't become powerful without the presence of challenge. Ask yourself, if life were to hand you only ease, only comfort, how sharp would your mind become? How capable would your hands be? How resilient would your spirit grow? You already know the answer. So, how does one transform challenges into stepping stones? First, you change the meaning. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of thinking, this setback means I should stop, you think, this obstacle means I must grow stronger, smarter, more determined. The moment you shift that thinking, everything changes. Picture someone traveling down a winding road. They encounter a fallen tree blocking their path. The weak person turns back. The average person sits, waits, hopes someone clears it. But the strong person, they roll up their sleeves, chop the tree, and use the wood to build a bridge not just for themselves, but for others who will come after them. Ask yourself, how would your life change if every difficulty became fuel instead of failure? If every no became a lesson, if every delay became a test of your patience and persistence? Where would you be a year from now? 5 years? Say this now. Say it with fire. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Let this truth become the lens through which you see the world. Let it transform burdens into blessings, setbacks into setups, and problems into possibilities. The road to greatness was never meant to be easy, but it was always meant to be worth it. I refuse to quit until I win. Before your feet even touch the floor this morning, there is one declaration that must thunder louder than doubt, louder than fear, louder than any voice that has ever whispered you can't. And it is this: I refuse to quit until I win. Look at the history of every person who ever achieved anything of worth. Not one, not a single one, was handed success without the fire of persistence burning in their chest. The world doesn't roll out red carpets for wishers. It opens its gates only to those who refuse to be turned away. Think of the mountain climber. Do they scale halfway, look up at the peak, sigh, and say, "It's too far"? Or do they grit their teeth, dig in their heels, and climb one step, one hand, one stubborn refusal to quit until the summit is beneath their feet? You know the answer, but here's the trap where most fall. They confuse a delay with defeat. They encounter one obstacle and convince themselves, maybe this wasn't meant for me. But tell me, when has anything worth having ever come without struggle, without setbacks, without the test of whether you truly want it? Ask yourself, would a blacksmith forge a blade by striking the steel only once? No, they hammer it again and again because they know that each strike strengthens it. Are you not forged in the same way? Now imagine this, you've set a goal. You've put in the effort, and yet results don't arrive as quickly as you hoped. Doubt creeps in. Voices whisper, maybe it's not working, maybe it's not for you. But then you remember the oath you made to yourself this morning. I refuse to quit until I win. Suddenly, the disappointment loses its grip. The failure becomes just a lesson. The delay transforms into preparation, not punishment. You adjust, you refine, you push forward, because quitting is not an option. You must understand, quitting is the only true failure. Every setback, every rejection, every mistake, these are not signs to stop. They are signs to sharpen your approach. Life tests every dream to see if you truly want it, to see if your desire outweighs your doubt. So, how do you build this iron refusal to quit? You make it non-negotiable. Each morning you speak it into existence. I refuse to quit until I win. Not if it gets easy, not if things go smoothly, just until. And when obstacles appear, and they will, you pause, look them squarely in the eye, and say, you will not outlast me. Whether it takes a day, a month, a year, or longer, you persist. Because those who persist cannot be defeated. Ask yourself, how many treasures in life are hidden behind the next effort, the next attempt, the next refusal to give up? And will you be the one who stops, or the one who breaks through? Declare it now. I refuse to quit until I win. Let it resonate so loudly within you that no rejection, no delay, no failure can drown it out. Because the truth is simple. Victory belongs not to the most talented, not to the most fortunate, but to the most determined. And if you refuse to quit, then you, without question, will win. I attract success by being valuable to others. As the morning light touches your face, let this truth take root deep within your mind. I attract success by being valuable to others. Look closely at the world around you. To walk through any town, any city, any marketplace, the people who rise, who build fortunes, who command respect, they are never the ones who simply take. They are the ones who give. Not charity in the sense of handouts, no, but they give value. They solve problems. They make life better, easier, richer for others. Now ask yourself, have you ever seen a merchant grow wealthy by selling something nobody needs? Have you ever seen a craftsman prosper while offering shoddy work? Never. Wealth, respect, opportunity, they are magnetized by one thing, the habit of providing something of worth. But here's where many stumble. They sit with folded arms, waiting for luck, waiting for someone to hand them opportunity, waiting for life to reward effort they haven't yet made. But life doesn't work that way. No one has ever become rich in money or meaning by asking, what can the world give me? The question has always been, what can I give the world? Imagine this clearly. Picture yourself walking into a room. Are you the person who waits to be noticed, waits to be helped? Or are you the one scanning the room, asking, how can I help? Who needs what I can offer? How can I be of service? Because here's the key. The person who solves problems will never be without opportunity. The one who eases burdens, who creates solutions, who delivers value, doors fly open for them. Not because they begged, not because they waited, but because the world rewards those who make themselves useful. Now ask yourself, what is the value you bring to others? Are your hands skilled? Is your knowledge sharp? Do your words inspire? Do your efforts solve? Because the marketplace of life only pays in proportion to the problems you solve and the usefulness you bring. How do you embody this? You begin each morning with a sacred commitment. I will be valuable today. I will serve. I will solve. I will leave every person, every place better than I found it. Whether that means offering a skill, lending a hand, sharing an idea, or simply lifting someone's spirits, the habit compounds, and like a magnet, opportunity starts to circle. People speak your name when you're not in the room, not because you asked, but because you became indispensable. The person who becomes invaluable cannot be ignored. Ask this daily. Who can I help today? What problem can I solve? How can I increase my value? And never forget, wealth, opportunity, respect, they aren't pursued. They are attracted to the person who becomes valuable. So say it now, and say it with certainty. I attract success by being valuable to others. Make this the rhythm of your actions, the direction of your thoughts, the heartbeat of your day. Because once you focus on providing value, success has no choice but to find you. I control my time and my energy. As the morning stirs and the world prepares to pull you in 100 different directions, remind yourself of this truth. I control my time and my energy. Not luck, not circumstance, not other people. Look around. Truly look. How many people squander their most valuable possessions, their hours, their focuses if they are limitless? They drift from task to task, pulled by interruptions, idle, chatter, distractions, and obligations they never chose but somehow accepted. By evening they wonder why nothing of substance was built. Ask yourself, would a master carpenter allow anyone to walk into their shop, rearrange their tools, interrupt their hands mid-craft, and demand they abandon their work for trivial matters? Never. Their time, their energy, their focus, these are sacred, and so must yours be. But here's the trap. Most people treat time as if it replenishes like water from a well. They forget once a day is spent, it is gone, irreplaceable. You can recover money lost. You can rebuild from failure. But not a single person has ever recovered a wasted hour. Now imagine yourself standing guard at the gates of your day. Picture time as gold coins in a pouch tied to your waist. Every demand, every request, every meaningless task, it tugs at that pouch. If you aren't vigilant, by sundown, the pouch is empty, spent on things that brought you no closer to your dreams. So here's the question. Will you give that gold away to anyone who asks for it, or will you choose where it goes with precision, with intention, with the understanding that time and energy are the currency with which success is purchased? Consider this. Even the wealthiest person cannot buy an extra minute. Kings and paupers alike wake with the same 24 hours. The only difference between the successful and the struggling is how those hours are spent. How do you take control? First, you decide. Before the world wakes, you sit with yourself and ask, what truly matters today? What actions move me toward my definite purpose? Then you commit. You draw a line around those priorities. You guard them like treasure. When interruptions come, and they will, you ask, does this align with my purpose, or is it theft disguised as urgency? If it's the latter, you refuse politely, firmly, without guilt. Now ask yourself, how many times have you traded an hour of purposeful work for idle conversation, for solving someone else's problem that wasn't yours, or for distractions, dressed up as urgent matters? And what could your life look like if, starting today, you guarded your time with the same ferocity you would guard your home or your family? Say this now. I control my time and my energy, and mean it. Let it become the filter for every decision, what you make today. Because here's the law. The person who commands their time, commands their life, and the one who wastes it, trades their future for nothing but regret. Guard it, protect it. Spend it only on what builds the life you desire, because nothing is more valuable and nothing will serve you better than mastering this truth. I'm surrounded by opportunities waiting to be claimed as the morning sun peaks over the horizon and another day stretches before you. There is one truth that far too many overlook, yet it holds the key to wealth, progress, and personal triumph. It is this: I am surrounded by opportunities waiting to be claimed. Look around, not with tired eyes but with the sharp, alert gaze of someone awake to possibility. The truth is, the world has never suffered from a shortage of opportunity, only from a shortage of those willing to recognize it, seize it, and act upon it. But most people walk through life blind to it. They mutter to themselves, there's nothing here for me. Life is unfair. The doors are closed. Meanwhile, the person beside them, with the same street under their feet, the same town around them, the same air in their lungs, sees openings where others see walls. They find possibilities where others find excuses. Why? Because opportunity doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It doesn't wear a sign that says, "Here I am." No, it hides. Often, it disguises itself as hard work. It wears the clothing of inconvenience, of discomfort, even of failure. Ask yourself, how many times have you walked right past the very thing that could have changed your life because it looked too much like effort, or because it came wrapped in the packaging of uncertainty? Imagine this clearly. You step out your door this morning. Two people stand at the crossroads. One sees empty streets, slow days, and closed doors. The other looks at the same streets and says, there's someone down the road who needs help fixing their fence. There's a merchant struggling to find someone dependable. There's a neighbor who doesn't yet realize they need the very service I provide. Which person prospers? Which person rises? Which one builds something from nothing? You already know the answer, but here's the pitfall. Many wait. They wait for opportunity to arrive, polished, certain, and guaranteed. But life doesn't work that way. Opportunity isn't something you sit and wait for. It's something you go out and claim. How does one begin to claim it? You start by shifting the question. Instead of asking, why isn't there more for me? You ask, where can I be useful? Where can I serve? Where can I solve a problem? For wherever a problem exists, so too does opportunity, waiting like gold beneath the soil for the person with the courage to dig. Think of the prospector. Thousands passed over hills believing them barren, yet the one who brought a pickaxe, who dug beyond the surface, struck a vein of wealth. Did the gold move to greet them? No, they moved toward it. Ask yourself this: What problems exist around you right now? Who needs what you can offer? What skills, services, or solutions are missing? In your circle, your town, your trade, because the truth is, there's no shortage of opportunity, only a shortage of eyes trained to see it. Say it now. Say it with conviction. I am surrounded by opportunities waiting to be claimed. Let it shape how you walk, how you speak, how you approach every interaction. Suddenly, you no longer wait for doors to open. You build the door, you carve the key, you step through. The person who believes opportunity is scarce will always be poor in wealth, in spirit, in progress. But the one who understands that life itself is rich with possibility, that person will never go hungry, not for success, not for meaning, not for greatness. I deserve the life I dream of because I build it daily. As morning air fills your lungs and a new day begins, there is one declaration that must stand tall in your mind before anything else can. I deserve the life I dream of because I build it daily. You see, the life you envision, whether it's wealth, peace, freedom, or mastery, isn't something handed down by fortune, nor is it gifted by chance. No, it is something earned, something forged, something constructed one day, one task, one decision at a time. Ask yourself, has there ever been a craftsman who built a cathedral in a day? Has a farmer ever planted seeds in the morning and reaped the harvest by sunset? Of course not. Greatness doesn't unfold in sudden bursts. It rises brick by brick under the hands of those who persist. But here's where most people stumble. They gaze longingly at the life they desire but forget that it is not the desire that grants it. It is the doing. They spend more time wishing than working, more time dreaming than doing. And then they say, maybe this life isn't meant for me. Imagine this clearly. Picture two people standing side by side. Both desire a strong, sturdy home. One draws plans, sharpens their tools, and begins laying the foundation. Rain comes, the winds blow, but they keep building. The other stands with folded arms, staring at the empty ground, hoping, waiting, wishing. Tell me, whose house stands a year from now? Whose dream becomes real? You already know the answer. The truth is simple. The life you dream of belongs to the person you become through daily construction, through the discipline of action, through the refusal to let a day slip by without progress. But ask yourself, what does it mean to build it daily? It means that every choice either moves you closer to or further from the life you desire. Each hour spent learning a skill, tending to your craft, sharpening your body, sharpening your mind, these are the bricks. Each promise you keep to yourself, each goal you refuse to abandon, these are the beams. And here's the truth, most never dare speak. You only truly believe you deserve the life you dream of when you know deep in your bones that you've built it with your own hands. No shortcuts, no excuses, no skipping steps. Imagine waking up tomorrow. You look in the mirror and ask yourself, have I earned the right to claim the life I desire? Did yesterday reflect the person I aim to become? And if the answer is yes, you stand taller. Your confidence will soar.